Hey there, Swamp Rabbits fans. It's time for another Bit Check, where we take this offseason to check in with your favorite Swamp Rabbits players as we gear up for the 25-26 ECHL season. We are less than 50 days out from opening night presented by Bon Secours on October 17th against the Utah Grizzlies. And joining us for our newest Bit Check episode is one of the newest members of this Swamp Rabbits roster, coming back to North America after 4 years in Europe, entering his 10th professional season from St. Albert, Alberta. Defenseman Josh Atkinson is now with us. A privilege to have you with us here, Josh, and a privilege to have your insight, your veteran presence coming to this team. Quite an eventful summer for you getting to this point, but we're less than 50 days out, so the countdown's really on.
Yeah, excited to get back to some hockey. A little bit longer of a summer with the switch from Europe back to North America, but excited to get going and get down to Greenville and kind of meet the team and play in front of the fans. I remember playing against someone else down in the South Division, so I'm excited to get rocking with everyone down in Greenville.
Now, we had talked about the summer that you had, and normally I'd give you the pleasantry of, hey, how's your summer been? But we all know where we're going with this because you had quite a personal milestone not too long ago before you signed your contract.
Yeah, so I ended up getting married this summer, so it was exciting, kind of busy planning the wedding at the start of the summer, kind of getting back from Europe, and then just kind of getting all those final touches that you kind of left off to the last minute. So got through all of that and then had the wedding, got all that done. So excited to get to the next part of the summer and just kind of move forward back into hockey season. That's the best part of the year.
Less than 50 days out. It's going to be here before you know it. You and your wife will now be down here for training camp, which starts right at the start of October. And, a really quick trip to Johnstown for a really awesome preseason experience celebrating the diamond anniversary of the First Summit Arena at Cambria County War Memorial. And then before you know it, we're right back to work for game one out of 72 on the slate. We had talked a while back, and the fans obviously weren't privy to that conversation as we got ready to announce you as part of our roster. But the opportunity to come with Greenville and to return to North America, for the fans that don't know that story, what all went into how you and I are now at this point where we're getting to talk about what the upcoming season is going to bring?
Yeah, I think I just was exploring my options for the season and actually was fortunate enough to meet Chad in Iowa when I was playing there. I kind of worked like a little summer camp with it was kind of like a day camp, basically kind of like the supplement school where kind of kids came and they'd work and we do hockey stuff all day, basically had them kind of while parents were working, obviously. So, yeah, Chad, when he was down in Iowa, he stopped by and bring the kids and they come for like a couple weeks. So got to know him a little bit there. And then my friend played for him in Allen, and I was just kind of exploring my options. My friends were like, well, you should reach out to Chad, and I'm sure he'd love to have you. He just signed, like he's going to Greenville, so that could be a good opportunity. And yeah, I ended up giving him a call, and we chatted, and thought it'd be good to work out. So yeah, excited to come back here to North America and play some North American hockey again, and yeah, just be a little closer to home and have a little more family come down and stuff like that instead of being so far across the pond.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you played against him in Europe too, is that right?
No, I just played against him in when he was in Allen. So I missed him by a year in Europe. So I think he was in Germany the year before I'd went there. So yeah.
Got it. So let's talk about your career then up to this point. We've got 10 years to cover. There's a lot of experience professionally coming into the season that we can cover. So let's start from the beginning. You said you were very fond memories of Greenville playing against the Swamp Rabbits. You were with the Atlanta Gladiators when you came out of college, out of the University of Alaska Fairbanks. So you've seen a lot of growth and a lot of power shift in this league, specifically coming to the South Division. So rewind the clock all the way back to when you first turned pro with the Gladiators. What do you remember about Greenville?
Yeah. So what do I remember about Greenville? I just remember that we had good battles. I remember that like when I first came into the league, it was like a lot. We still had a lot of like kind of heavyweight guys left, and I feel like Greenville and us when I was in Atlanta, we were like the teams in the South kind of who didn't really have that like heavyweight guy. So we had like really good competitive games that kind of like stayed within the lines without kind of like getting too crazy. And there wasn't anyone you really had to worry about, but it was just fun. Like I think the thing that I like about playing the East Coast League is you get to play teams a lot. So you kind of build like a little bit of a rivalry throughout the season where you play the same teams not too often, but like a good amount of times where you can kind of have that. And yeah, it's just always good competitive games with Greenville. And yeah, I really enjoyed my time in Atlanta. It was a lot of fun playing there. So yeah, I think I think my like last memory in Greenville, I think as a playing pro in Atlanta, we had like we came there, the game got canceled because the ice had been taken out for a concert. So we're supposed to play in the afternoon. We ended up like delaying the game. And yeah, we had to like play. We were supposed to play at like noon, I think. And we ended up playing like 5 or something like that and just like having to eat pizzas before the game. So I think that was my last time I was down with you guys. And then yeah, and then we had to go make up a canceled game in Norfolk like right after that. So it was like right at the end of the year too. So it was funny.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, maybe we should have pizza here for you when you come for day one of training camp, then just kind of bring back old memories.
Maybe, maybe.
So you're with Atlanta for a good bit. You also get your first taste of the American Hockey League with Chicago. Back to Atlanta, you go to Allen, and then pretty much go back to Chicago and to Iowa in the AHL, and you don't really look back. You ended up becoming a full-time AHLer for about 2+ years there. So as your career starts to really take off and you start learning more about yourself as a pro, how do you reflect on the journey to get back to the AHL and play as many games in that league as you did?
Yeah, I think kind of like when I came out of college, just was like trying to make a roster in the East Coast League and give myself an opportunity and had a couple of good balances, able to go to NHL camp and stuff like that. So that was a good experience. And then I remember my first time getting called up. It was just kind of I got called up and then I was there for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks and just played a couple of games and just kind of when I got sent down, they told me like you like if you really want to play in this league, you're really gonna have to develop like a defensive side of the game because like there's a lot of guys who are like known to be offensive guys and like the way to make it into this league is to become like a better defensive player. Like if you can add that part of your game and then when you get here and you could prove that you can play defense, then like you'll have a chance to like kind of add some offense and stuff like that. So kind of dedicated the next couple of years where trying to be more focused on the defensive side and be a more competitive player and just like kind of basically find ways to like be an effective player to play some winning hockey. And yeah, it kind of paid off well enough. I went to Allen that year and then really fortunate to have Steve Martinson there and he kind of helped me get called up to Chicago for that end of the year, played a couple games and then did the playoff run with them. We went to the finals and just like a lot of learning and practicing and like didn't play a ton of games in that playoff run, but learned to be a good teammate and stuff like that. Fast forward for the next season, I was supposed to go back to Allen and I got lucky enough to go to camp with Minnesota and yeah, ended up sticking with Iowa after that and just kind of taking the things that I'd learned, like my East Coast League seasons and kind of my what I'd been told when I'd been called up the few times that I'd been up and down, just try and like really apply that to that like tryout opportunity and was able to stay and just kind of play like a different style of hockey than I'd probably played most of my life. But yeah, just kind of very biggest like focus was like being a good defender and hard to play against and stuff like that. And it was really helpful, obviously, for me. And then just kind of giving me opportunities from there. So yeah, I think if you kind of look at maybe not as high point scoring totals as my first year pro, but like really good hockey and like positive hockey. So
I'm curious to get your take on this again with as veteran as you are and with the education that you've done in this game too with the hockey academies and things that you've been with. When somebody pulls you aside, very loaded question here, but when somebody pulls you aside and says you have to be a better defender, what specifically goes into that? Because it's not just sitting back. There's so much more that goes into actually executing top tier defense.
yeah, I think like for me, I was very lucky. Like they were very like wanting to help me become a better player when I was up with Chicago and just kind of like teaching you ways to be better one on one, teaching you where to be away from the puck, that kind of stuff. So kind of when I went up and then when I went back down, I just kind of had some things to focus on and apply from and just kind of just understanding that like uh you don't have to like make like everything happen each and every shift. Sometimes you have to just like kind of win the shift and like do what's needed on each shift. And then when there's times to impact the game and like kind of make that difference, you kind of try and find those spots instead of trying to like if you try and do it shift after shift every time, sometimes you get caught out of position, you make a mistake, and that's kind of when things bite you. So especially when you're like getting called up for the first time or you're trying to like make a team, like those little mistakes, you don't have as long of a leash. So you have to just kind of, I guess, not like you're trying to be as perfect as you can. You're never going to be perfect out there, but it's just like minimizing those, those like negative opportunities against yourself. So yeah, it was a different like kind of ask of me, but I appreciated the challenge, and I was just happy that they were trying to make me better and just help me get to where I wanted to be.
And then towards the end of your stint in the American Hockey League, we had talked about this a little bit off camera that COVID happens. We all know where we were, when it happened. You were recounting the story not too long ago, but then that presents an opportunity for you to play a different style of game and go over to Europe. And you specifically chose the Hungarian team. I swear I'm probably going to butcher this. Fehervar? Is
Yes,
that, did I nail it?
yeah, Farivar.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
The town of Sikesh Fehérvár in Hungary. Yeah, we play in the Austrian league. Yeah, I was very lucky. Just kind of had was not sure what I was going to do for the following season, and then the team called my agent. And, my actually assistant coach in Iowa, the D coach, Brett McLean. He said, it might be a good spot to go try and play. So he kind of referenced me, and I went there and just, yeah, it was a great experience. Like I love playing hockey in Europe. It's a little bit of different lifestyle and experience there, but it's incredible. Appreciate every minute of it, and it was a great step for my hockey journey. Just kind of, yeah, again, like playing like a super defensive role in Iowa, and then I got to go there and just kind of be back more in an offensive role. So that was a lot of fun, just trying to, yeah, same thing, just impact the game in whatever ways I can. And that was fun, a really fun season to go over there. Like we went all the way to the finals. So anytime you can have like success like that, it's a lot of fun. Hockey's a lot of fun when you're winning. So
The answer is always different. Everybody I ask this question, but you compare North America to Europe, and everybody says Europe is so different, and rightfully so. Wider ice surface, a different skill set of player, a different level of skater too. So, in your own words, how different is it for the fans that don't understand that?
yeah, I think it's different in a couple of ways. I think it really also depends on the league. I played in two leagues, so I played in the DL, and then I played in Austria. And Austria, I found was like a really like I still think they're kind of playing like a North American style, where there's a lot of like rush opportunity, and like you're playing kind of like I'd say a blend of like European style, where you're trying to use like the bigger offensive zone and the ice and like ozone play, and then but you still have like kind of that rush offense where I found when I played in Germany, like it was a lot of like ozone play, like really like long ozone shifts and like trying to like possess the puck and control it and like not give it back to the other team. So I think yeah, the biggest difference is like a little more time and space out there. I think things in North America happen faster. Obviously the ice is smaller. You got to make those in tight plays and stuff like that. And you're kind of always under pressure versus like I guess like in Europe, you kind of have like not like a breather, but like there's usually a little bit more time when you kind of move off somewhere or something like that, just based on like how much bigger the rink is and the space and stuff like that. So the game's a little bit different, I feel like anywhere you go. So, but it's yeah, it's good. It's fun.
And now that brings you all the way back to here, to North America, back to the South Division, and with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. So you're going into 10 years. There's a lot to really take in with the career that you've had, the places you've been, the teammates, the coaches you've worked with. Uh, what's the biggest takeaway going into a decade of doing this professionally as your life's work? What's the biggest takeaway that you carry with you coming into Greenville?
Yeah, I think I just am appreciative of the opportunity to play professional hockey. Where no matter where it takes you or like what kind of the journey is, it's just, I mean, it's a lot of fun getting to play hockey for a living and like finding a way to do that. So, yeah, I just appreciate. I mean, yeah, I think all of us hockey players are pretty lucky. Like the game gives you a lot of opportunities. Like I went to school because of hockey. Met all my friends. Like all my best men in my weddings are all from somewhere hockey, someone stuff like that. So just like a great appreciation for the journey and just kind of, yeah, wherever the game takes you, kind of make the most of the opportunity, get a new experience, meet a new group of people, and just like kind of, yeah, just like make the most of it. So I'm excited to come back to North America, play hockey in the US. And yeah, I'm excited to be down in the South. I love living down there. Weather's usually pretty good. Don't have to worry about the snow and stuff like that. So I'll be excited to make the most of the weather and all the opportunities down south. So
We did have a scare of a half an inch of snow last year, so you better brace yourself when you come back and
I'm,
it comes around winter time.
I'm well prepared for a half an inch of snow.
What excites you the most about the opportunity here with this team, knowing who's coming back from the previous team, knowing some of your new teammates that we've announced over the course of the last couple of weeks? Is there anything hockey-wise that excites you about the role that you get to play as a veteran defenseman here?
Yeah, I think I'm excited to play for Chad. I mean, obviously, he was a very successful player, kind of. Um, he sees the game so well. Like he was obviously such an incredible offensive player. So I just think coming in, he wants to win, and you can tell that every time he talks, he's thinking about like having a successful winning team. So it's exciting to come play for someone who wants to win so badly, and just kind of learn from him and understand the game from his perspective. So excited to work with Chad. Excited to work with all the guys we have on the roster and stuff like that. And I mean. I think like the longer I've played, just more every year is just about like, can we try do whatever it takes to try and win? Like I said, hockey's a lot more fun when you're winning than when you're losing, and just the seasons are a lot more fun when you're winning than when you're losing. So hopefully we can have some fun, win some games, and be successful and do our best to compete for a championship. I guess I mean that's why we all play the game. So.
And the last thought for you here, Josh, in line with exactly that, trying to win this championship. You've been on finals runs multiple times. What's it going to take for you and for this team to have that fun of winning and to ultimately claim that hardware?
Yeah, I think it's a blend of both things. I think like for me, just kind of like from my own perspective, is having a good start is really helpful. If you can get off to a good start in the season, kind of put yourself ahead. There's obviously going to be some bumps in the road, like especially in the East Coast League, guys are going to get called up. You might have some injuries, stuff like that. So if you can get out to a hot start, you can kind of give yourself a little buffer room for those challenges that come along. Yeah, like when you're stuck on the road for a long time and stuff like that. If you have like that little bit of buffer from a good start, that kind of leads you later into the season. And then, yeah, I think, I mean, it's kind of cliche, but just taking like each game at a time. The challenge of, I think that's the thing about European hockey is you don't play as many games, and it's like every game is like really, really important. It's a 3 point swing there. So like a win is really big and a loss is really big. So it's just kind of like accepting that challenge of each game and do your best to, I don't know, try and win each and every game. And then obviously it'll compound on itself, and you'll get to the end of the season. And I think if you kind of have that yeah, that competitive attitude for each night, you should have a good chance of being a successful team. And then yeah, I think I mean it takes a good blend of everything, a little bit of luck, but I think I'm excited to work with Chad. He's a good coach, and it should be a good team, and we should be able to have some success this year.
Very well and generously spoken. Josh, privileged to have you with us here in Greenville. Thank you so much for the time. And before you know it, we'll see you here for training camp.
Thanks for having me. Excited to get down and get to work.
That'll do it for our latest edition of the Bit Check, where we take all off season long to check in with your favorite Swamp Rabbits players. Stick around for more of these editions on our social media platforms and on our team website as we gear up for opening night, presented by Bon Secours on October 17th against the Utah Grizzlies.